What is going on, you guys? It is another episode of the Sci-Fly Zone where the multiverse meets the seventh inning stretch. It's your boys Trenton and CJ, and today's destination is taking us back to Major League Baseball as we're going to be doing projections for all of the divisional rankings for the American League and National League Western, Central, and Eastern divisions. And we're going to be using those projections to make a playoff bracket projection and see who we think is going to be winning the World Series. We're just going to be going all the way. And there's going to be some hot takes for sure. So be ready for those. We're going to be starting out with the American League West. CJ, lead us out.
First place team in the American League West, I think it's going to be the defending American League West champs. I think it's going to be the Mariners. They have the best rotation in the American League. You know that when Luis Castillo is your fourth pitcher in the rotation, you're going to have some really, really good pitchers on that team. I have them going 94 and 68. They pretty much kept most of their guys. Did lose Jorge Polanco and Eugenio Suarez, but they picked up Brennan Donovan, a really solid contact hitter at the top of the lineup. So that's going to be good to see. My second place team, I have the Rangers going 87 and 75. Also made some pretty good moves in the offseason. They picked up Brandon Nimmo, a good left-handed outfielder. He's going to be hitting leadoff for them as well. They added Mackenzie Gore a couple weeks ago. He's a great left-handed pitcher. Third place, I have the Astros. Hunter Brown absolutely broke out as an ace last year. They also are adding Tetsuya Imaya from the NPB. So that's going to be a good addition for them. They're getting Yordan Alvarez back healthy. He's going to be huge for them. I think they're going to go 84 and 78. And then I have the A's at fourth place. I have them going 78 and 84. I think they have some really exciting young hitters. Obviously, Jacob Wilson is turning into one of the best contact hitters. He doesn't strike out. They have Nick Kurtz projected to lead off for them, which is interesting.
That's fun.
I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, I think there is a lot to like about this team, but they definitely have some rough patches around the edges, including that starting rotation and bullpen. And then unfortunately, I have the Angels in fifth place. I do like a lot about this team. I like some of the pitchers. Reed Detmers is coming back to the bullpen, but I just don't think that they are going to be able to compete with these other teams. Obviously, Zach Neto and Mike Trout are some of my favorite players in baseball, but overall, I think some of the other teams are just going to be more competitive. I have the Angels going 72 and 90.
All right, dude. Yeah. I actually have the exact same 1 through 5. Although the records are a little bit different. I got the Mariners going 89 and 73. I just feel like their team is not quite as good as it was last season, so I feel like they are going to drop a little bit, but they are still going to be the best in the Western Division for sure. And then the Rangers under them, I got them going 86 and 76. And then the Astros, I got the same record that you have, 84 and 78. And then for the A's, I got them going 83 and 79. And then the Angels, I actually got them going 80 wins this year. I really do feel like the Angels are going to have a pretty big improvement from last year, even though we obviously lost guys like Taylor Ward. Not happy about that. Obviously, I'm going to miss him. But yeah, I do feel like the Angels are going to improve a little bit. And I do feel like we are going to make it past that 80 win mark. But the Mariners rotation, Gilbert, Ryan Wu, George Kirby, Luis Castillo, Bryce Miller. I mean, I'm so jealous.
All of those guys could be an ace on the Angels, honestly.
Literally.
Man, I don't know how they got so lucky. And they have so many like young pitchers too who don't even get a chance to pitch as well.
Yeah. And compared to last year, it's going to be basically the same outcome, just the Astros and Rangers are going to be swapping places for me, more or less.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be pretty similar to last year in that aspect. I do like that you have the A's having a positive record this year. I believe 83 wins, you said?
Yeah, I got them going 83 and 79. I do feel like they have made some really good additions to their lineup. And also, like, their pitching isn't that bad. I feel like Luis Severino still might get like 8 to 10 wins this season. Aaron Savali, he's not too bad either. So I feel like the A's and the Angels, even though they're not gonna have like the best seasons, they're gonna have some good improvements.
I do like that. I like that a lot. The A's have such an exciting young core of guys. Obviously, Kurtz, Jacob Wilson, Soderstrom. And as you mentioned, some of those pitchers can hold their own. So I really like that. I think this is going to be their last season before they move to Las Vegas. So hopefully they can make use of that stadium while they can, the shorter porches. I know Nick Kurtz likes sitting there. So, yeah, I like that. I think the A's could really have a solid year this year.
Yes, sir. So now let's move on to the National League West. So I'll start us out here. I got the Dodgers being the only team reaching 100 wins this season, as they're going to be 102 and 60.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Dodgers are going to have the best record in baseball. Um, I have them just one win above. I have them 103.
God.
Um, I think I think they're going to win 10 more games than they did last year. Obviously, they did win their division, but it was like they only had 93 wins because they were struggling a bit in the middle of the season. But I mean, it's been kind of the same story for the Dodgers for the last couple of years. The best team just keeps getting better and better because everybody wants to play for them because they're going to win the World Series pretty much every year. At least they have the last 2 years. So, yeah, man, the Dodgers are just going to be the best team for a while.
Yeah, man. And then in second place, I got the Padres at 89 and 73. And then in third place, I got the Diamondbacks at 87 and 75. And then I got the Giants at 82 and 80. And then I got the Rockies. Even though they have the highest altitude stadium, they're going to have the lowest record this season at 65 and 97. So not nearly as bad as last season. I feel like last season was just everything possibly that could have gone wrong went wrong, and it'll be better. It'll be better.
Yeah, it's been tough for Rockies and Rockies fans. It seems like things haven't been going right for them, especially last season. I also have the Padres in second place. I have them quite a bit behind the Dodgers by almost 20 wins. I have them 84 and 78. They lost Dylan Cease, but they did add some pieces as well. Obviously, adding Nick Castellanos, a couple other guys too. But I have the Giants and the Diamondbacks flipped. I have the Giants going 81 and 81 in third place. And I just think they have one of the best 1-2 punches in the starting rotation. Logan Webb and Robbie Ray is a great combo. And they also added Luis Arias and keeping Rafael Devers. They got some good lefties there. And then I have the D-backs in fourth place. I wanted to rank them higher because I like this team and I like a lot of the guys, but
Yeah, man, I'm surprised about that.
yeah, I just don't think. I mean, they're going to be starting the season off missing a couple guys. Corbin Carroll broke his hamate bone. He's going to be out for probably a couple weeks. Corbin Burns is going to be coming back mid-season. Merrill Kelly is going to be missing some time. So they have some great pieces. Obviously, one of the best middle infields in baseball, in Perdomo and Marte. And when Corbin Carroll is going to be healthy, he's going to be one of the best outfielders they have. It's just going to be whether or not they're going to be able to keep up with some of the other teams in the first half when they don't have all their guys. I think. So I have them going 78 and 84. And then the Rockies as well. I have them in last place. I have them going 59 and 103. I do think they're going to lose 100 games again. Um, it's just, they're just going to be playing those NL West teams a lot, and they're going to be getting beat up on. I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, the Rockies definitely are not gonna be doing good for a while. But dude, I gotta ask you about the Diamondbacks, man. Just like hear this 1 through 9. Geraldo Perdomo, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, Gabriel Moreno, Nolan Arenado, Carlos Santana, Pavin Smith, Jordan Lawler, and Alec Thomas. Like, that's not a bad lineup, especially like 1 through 7 is pretty good.
It is a pretty solid lineup.
And they
Yeah,
got Zach Gallen and Brandon Pfaadt and Eduardo Rodriguez in the rotation too. And they're going to be getting Corbin Carroll and they're going to be getting Merrill Kelly too. Like, there's a chance, though?
there is a chance. Yeah, they could absolutely make a push. They started to make a push towards the wild card last year, and I was hoping they would make it in. There's definitely a possibility that they do make it this year. I love their 1 through 6. They have some really solid hitters in there. I think the biggest question mark is just going to be that pitching because with Zach Gallen at the top, obviously we've seen what he can do at his peak, but the last couple seasons he has struggled. It's just going to be a matter of whether he can get back to that ace form that he was in before. And yeah, with like some of the other guys, obviously they're going to be getting Corbin Burns back. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes back from Tommy John, if they keep him at an inning limit or anything. So I think the pitching is really going to be what determines how well this team does.
Yeah, because the bats are pretty dependable.
Yeah, I have confidence that they're they're definitely gonna be able to score some runs. I just
Yeah.
hope they don't give up a lot of runs.
Yeah, but the additions of like Arenado and Carlos Santana on the corners, like those are some really good guys to have some veteran presence in your dugout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very good veteran presence. They're great locker room leaders. They add a lot to this team, not only just with their bat and Arenado's glove. Obviously, he's one of the best defending third basemen in baseball still. But they add a lot to this team, regardless of what they can do on the field. They're sort of like those glue guys in a way. They can like bring the guys together and and really lead the team. You know what I mean?
100%. So now let's move on to the Central Divisions, and we'll start out with the American League. CJ, who do you got?
So first place, I have the Tigers. I think they're going to be 92 and 70 this year. They have one of the best, two of the best left-handed pitchers in baseball, and Framber Valdez and Tarek Skubal, back-to-back Cy Young winner. So
Their rotation is like, excuse my language, but I feel I'm gonna use my one PG-13 F bomb. Their rotation is fucked.
yeah, they have a crazy rotation. This is really really good. Casey Mize and Jack Flaherty down at the bottom. You got old man Justin in the middle there, going on his old man Logan run back in Detroit. And then Framber Valdez and Tarek Skubal, like we said, just two of the best left-handed pitchers in baseball. So the offensive lineup is pretty similar to what it was last year. They're going to be running back a lot of the guys, and it makes sense because they don't really have to make many differences because they scored a lot of runs and they played pretty good baseball last year. So yeah, I think the Tigers are going to win the division this year. For my second place team, I have the Kansas City Royals. I originally had the Guardians here, but after writing it down and thinking it over again, I flipped the two. I have the Royals at 2 and the Guardians at 3. I think the Royals are going to go 84 and 78 this year. I like a lot of their guys at the top of the lineup. Michael Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr. is one of the best shortstop in the game. Vinny Pasquantino had his best season last year. And if Cole Reagans can be healthy and on, the rotation is going to be very scary too. Because they got Cole Reagans, Seth Lugo, Noah Cameron, they got Michael Waka. Like they have some solid guys in that rotation. So I think the Guardians are going to be 82 and 80 in third place. I think they're going to be going from first to third this year. Not the good kind of first and third base running, first and third in terms of their record. I think they're going to be 82 and 80. I just think that the Royals best players are a little bit better than the Guardians best players. Aside from Jose Ramirez, he's the best third baseman in the game. But I just think that the Royals have a little bit more talent on that team that can carry them later in the season, and I think they're going to edge out the Guardians a little bit there. And then I have the Twins in fourth place. I have them going 68 and 94, which is tough to say because I really like the Twins and I want them to do good. I do like their hitters. Byron Buxton is one of the most talented baseball players in the game right now when he's healthy. I just don't think Joe Ryan can carry the rotation by himself. Pablo Lopez is having Tommy John, so he's probably going to be out for the full season. So I do think the Twins are going to struggle this year. But shout out to everybody in Minnesota. Hope you guys are staying safe. And at the fifth place team, I have the Chicago White Sox, which is sad because I do like a lot of these young guys. They have some really exciting players. Colson Montgomery is going to be great. Munetaka Murakami is coming over from Japan. Luis Angel Acuna is going to be on the team as well. But it's just the starting rotation that's a little scary. And there are some pretty good offenses in the AL Central. So I think the pitching rotation is going to struggle a bit.
Yeah, I had the exact same 1 through 5 as well. I had Tigers going 92 and 70. I just feel like they failed a little bit too much last season. They just went on some really long cold streaks, and I just feel like they're going to lock in a little bit better this year. I also have the Royals going second at 89 and 73. I really like their pitching this year, and obviously Bobby Witt Jr., Michael Garcia, Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez, Isaac Collins, Johnny India. That's pretty good 1 through 6 right there. And you also got Lane Thomas in right field as well. So, like, they have a really good lineup, and I like their pitching as well. So, Royals definitely are going to make that second slot. And then I got the Guardians at third. I got them a little bit higher than you at this season. I got the Guardians winning 87 games. They were able to win 88 last year, so I feel like Jose Ramirez is going to just put the team on his back and just continue doing awesome stuff.
That's what he does, man. That's basically what Jose Ramirez does every year. He just puts the team on his back and has a great season.
Yeah, dude. And, they got Steven Kwan, George Valera. They signed Rhys Hoskins. They've come Manzardo, Bo Naylor, Brian Rocchio. And yeah, dude, like, I like that lineup along with Gavin Williams, Tanner Bybee, Logan Allen, Slade Ciccone. It's good rotation. I feel like they're going to be able to repeat their success, but they just don't have as much depth as the team above them, unfortunately. And then I got the Twins below them. I got the Twins at 78 wins, though, 78 and 84. So a little bit of an improvement from last year, but just, again, not really going to be able to compete with the teams above them. Then White Sox below. I got them at 72 and 90. I feel like they're going to also be able to improve a little bit. They did make some really good additions in the offseason. They made some moves for sure, so I feel like that will reflect on the record a little bit, but not a lot, which is why they're in last place and losing 90 games. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm glad we have another agreeal.
Yeah, me too. So let's move on to the National League Central divisions now. I'll lead us out. I got the Cubs going in first place, replacing the Brewers from last season. I have the Cubs actually going the exact same record as last season as well, 92 and 70. And then under them, I got the Brewers going 90 and 72. I just feel like the Brewers really found their stride last season, right after the All-Star break, and they just never really stopped until they met the Dodgers in the playoffs, of course. But
For Otani. Shohei Otani!
I just feel like the Brewers are still going to be able to more or less replicate that success that they had last season. I just don't think to the exact same degree. And then at number three, I got the Reds at 84 and 78. They just love cruising right around the 80 to 85 win area, but they just can never quite get to that wild card level of success, and it's just so unfortunate because I would love to see that team and that city just like see more success.
Yeah, 100%, man. I want the Reds to go on a deep playoff run real bad, and they have some of the guys to do it. They have some really exciting players. To see them in the playoffs would be great.
Yeah, I totally agree. I want that. But in fourth, I actually have the Pirates going 81 and 81. I feel like they're going to kind of do a bump up from last season. I think the ownership is starting to realize, okay, maybe we should try and do a little bit with Paul Skeens. So I feel like this season they are going to do a bit more. Just they don't have the roster depth to compete with the Brewers or the Cubs. So that's why they're just going to be a nice fourth. But I feel like Paul Skeens and some other players like O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, Marcelo Zuna, Ryan O'Hearn, Brandon Lowe, Joey Bart, Nick Gonzalez, like those are pretty good bats. But I am happy to see that they made some good additions to their lineup, which is why I do have them having a bit of a boost this season. But in fifth place, obviously, the Cardinals are remaining. They're going to be at 79 and 83, dropping one game from last season. I just don't really, I don't know what's going on in St. Louis right now.
Yeah, man, it's tough to see what's happening in St. Louis. My Central is pretty similar to yours. I also have the Cubs winning it. I have them going 92 and 70 as well. I think that they just have probably the best infield in baseball right now. The addition of Alex Bregman was huge for them. I know they did lose Kyle Tucker, but I think there's a chance that they do even better this year than they did last year. They didn't get a full season from Kyle Tucker because he did deal with some injury here and there. But they also added Edward Cabrera in the bullpen too. I think that's a nice addition. He could really have a good year for them. Chicago's a more of a pitcher friendly ballpark, so he could thrive there for sure. So I have them in first. I have the Reds in second actually. I have them going 86 and 76. I think that they added the perfect power bat that they needed. They got Eugenio Suarez. He's in the middle of the lineup. He hit 49 homers for them in 2019. He hit almost 100 homers over the span of 2 years for them. So he's the perfect power bat they need. And Hunter Green and Andrew Abbott could have two of the best pitching seasons in the National League this year. They're absolutely turning into stars of their own right now. So I have them in second. I have the Brewers in third place. I think that like losing Freddie Peralta was a big miss for them. They didn't really replace him in the rotation.
Yeah.
They're going to have a full season from Brandon Woodruff, but I mean, Freddie Peralta had, I believe, the most wins in all of baseball as a starting pitcher last year. So he was a huge reason for their success. Like you said, it does seem like they've kind of hit their stride as a team. They don't really need a star player. They kind of just have a good, solid overall lineup. But I think that the Reds and the Cubs just got better in areas that the Brewers didn't necessarily. They're kind of just staying where they were last year, but the Reds and the Cubs are improving. So I think that they're going to be finishing ahead of the Brewers this year. I have the Pirates in fourth place as well. I have them going 78 and 84. I really like a lot of the moves that they made, though, this offseason. They have made some really respectable moves. It's probably the most active offseason they've had in a while. They're kind of famous for not really doing anything, like you said.
That's what I'm saying. Ownership's starting to like get it going a little bit.
Yeah, they're actually starting to like listen to the fans and realize that people do want to watch teams win games, Artie Moreno. So Um, so yeah, I think the Pirates are going to be finished fourth, but I do think they're going to be better than they have in previous years. And then I have the Cardinals in last as well. I think that it's going to be a rough season for the Cardinals. I have them at 70 and 92. They just haven't really added much to the team. They lost Brendan Donovan and they lost Nolan Arenado, and the pitching is scary. They have not a great rotation. I believe Andrew Payante is slotted as their ace right now. Dustin May as their two. They just have a lot of guys who you don't really know what you're going to get out of them. So it's kind of easier to expect the worst for the Cardinals than better. So I think they are going to finish in last. But yeah, that is my National League Central.
I feel like a lot of people are probably going to come to fairly similar conclusions, but let's move on to the East. I will lead us out. And I would say this was the hardest division for me to put together because the American League East is without a doubt the most competitive division in Major League Baseball this season. I mean, each team has a first place potential team in their own way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like any of these teams could finish first if they were playing in a different division, competing against not four of the better teams in all of baseball.
Yeah, 100%, man. So this is the only division that I have a tie.
Ooh, okay.
Tie going into the playoffs, and obviously there is no game 163 anymore, unfortunately. Not a huge fan of that. I love the game 163, but that's another video.
Yeah,
But
we could talk about that for 30 minutes.
yeah, so I have the Yankees at first at 95 and 67, and then I have tied with them the Orioles at 95 and 67.
Oh, okay. 95 wins for the Orioles, huh? I like that. I like that jump. I like the confidence you have.
Yeah, man, I think their offense is just gonna shake up all the pitching in the league this year.
Yeah, man. Yeah, some of those hitters are going to be real tough to compete with. They made some good moves.
Yeah, man, like they have Gunnar Henderson, Taylor Ward, Adley Rutschman. They just added Pete Alonso, and they also got Tyler O'Neill, and Jackson Holiday is going to be joining the lineup later in the year. So I think that's just a great lineup, and I think their pitching is good enough to hold them over. I feel like it's going to be one of those situations where a lot of the team is going to have a fairly high ERA, but the offense is going to kind of hold them over. It's going to be like a Dodgers situation with the Orioles this year. But I feel like if the offense can stay hot for most of the year, then they'll be able to supplement for some of the pitching drops. But all the pitchers have like the potential to be aces, like Kyle Bradish, Trevor Rogers, Shane Baz, Chris Bassett, Zach Eflin, Dean Kremer. Like those are all ace candidates.
Yeah. Honestly, now that you say the names out loud, the rotation does look better than I had imagined in my mind. Yeah, I was kind of in a similar situation to you. I thought the offense was going to carry this Orioles team, but I mean the rotation might not be that bad either.
Yeah, man. So in third place at 92 and 70, I got the Blue Jays. They're going to do good. They're going to make it over 90 wins, but I just feel like their offense has a few holes that I feel like if they were to go cold, then it's just not going to be able to make up for if the pitching also goes cold. I feel like a lot of the guys on the Blue Jays are kind of streaky, and I don't know how far that streakiness could go.
Yeah, that's fair. That is a good point. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But in fourth place, I have the Red Sox at 88 and 74. You know, they have a good team. They're going to do good this year, but I just don't think that the lineup is necessarily going to be able to hold up to some of the other lineups in the league. Like the Red Sox best hitters are Roman Anthony, Trevor Story, Jarren Duran, Wilson Contreras, Caleb Durbin, Wilyer Abreu, Marcel Mayer, Sedan Rafaela. Like those are all decent hitters, but they're not Vlad Jr., they're not Pete Alonso, and they're not Aaron Judge.
Yeah, it's true.
So, yeah, and then I got the Rays just under them at 87 and 75. Rays are a good team. The Rays would probably be the first place team in one of the central divisions, honestly. But I really like their lineup and their rotation for obviously the budget that they have and the way that they work. It's pretty good, but they can't quite hold up, unfortunately.
Yeah. My division is pretty similar to you. I have the defending AL champs and the Blue Jays finishing in first. I think they're going to go 92-70. I mean, they made some great additions. They got Kazuma Okamoto from Japan. They added Dylan Cease in the one of the biggest free agent signings of the offseason. And Trey Savage had a breakout playoff, so he's a pretty good candidate for Rookie of the Year this year. Some of those pitchers are going to be really good for the Blue Jays. Not to mention the offense; they're running back a similar lineup to what they had in the playoffs last year, and it worked out pretty well for them for the most part. Obviously, they had some big moments from Addison Barger, Vlad Jr., obviously Nathan Lucas. Bo Bichette is going to be a big miss, though. It's going to be tough not having him. He was a great addition to that offense there. But I do think that the Blue Jays are still going to finish in first. I have the Yankees behind them at 90-72. They are pretty much kind of like the Blue Jays, running back the same lineup they had last year. All the similar guys. They got Judge. They re-signed Bellinger. They have Max Fried as their ace. Carlos Rodon is going to be hurt for a little bit, so they're going to miss some time with him. But, I mean, the offense is just so potent. They're going to score some runs. They're going to outscore your favorite team, and they're going to win a lot of games this year.
Yeah, and also, guess who's coming back from Tommy John this year?
Garrett
Cole.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is coming back. Yeah, man, that rotation is going to look pretty good once they have all their guys healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to be a good team, man. Speaking of good teams, I have the Orioles a little bit behind them. I have them going 86-76. Like we mentioned earlier, they made some great additions to their team offensively, especially Taylor Ward and Pete Alonso, two of the best power hitters in baseball last year. They're going to be a great combination in that lineup. And if guys like Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson can have all-star seasons, the Orioles might finish in first place, like you predicted. They could win 95 games this year. And the more we talked about them, the more it seemed like that starting rotation could hold up for them. And like we said, it's going to be high-scoring games. The Orioles are going to be outscoring a lot of teams because of the power that they have and the run production that they can produce. So the Orioles are going to be a really fun team to pay attention to this year. I have the Red Sox in fourth. I have them at 84-78. I really thought they'd be higher, and I wanted them to be higher because I do like some of the moves they made. They added Sonny Gray and Ranger Suarez to the rotation. With Garrett Crochet as the ace in that rotation, he's turning into one of the best starting pitchers in baseball. The only thing for them is I feel like the offense is a little bit shaky. I think the lineup has some question marks. If some of those guys get hurt, like Trevor Story, then it could be pretty bad news for the Red Sox. And then the last place team, I have the Rays. It's not a bad team. I don't think they're a bad team, but just compared to the other teams in their division, they're going up against some of the best teams in baseball. And they have a lot of guys that I like. I like Yandy Diaz, I like Jonathan Aranda, and I like Junior Caminero. I just don't think that they're going to be enough to carry that offense and make up for the pitching rotation that they have. I think that they're going to struggle the most out of any of these teams in the East.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. So, last but certainly not least, the National League East.
Oh, East? I thought you said West.
West? What kind of compass are you reading, lad?
This one, sir.
That's West, Patrick. You're fired again.
Okay, so for the East, I have first place. I have the Mets going 91-71. I like a lot of the things that they did in this offseason. At the start, it looked pretty scary. They lost Pete Alonso and they lost Edwin Diaz, one of the best first basemen and maybe the best closer in baseball. But the way that they made up for it, I do actually kind of like. I mean, their infield is looking a lot different now. They have three new faces in that infield, but I like what they have there. Bo Bichette, Francisco Lindor, Marcus Semien, and Jorge Polanco maybe going to be playing first, maybe switching out with Brett Beatty here and there. But I really like the offense. I think that they're going to be able to perform pretty well. And not to mention they have an ace now in Freddie Peralta. They got exactly what they needed. They needed a starting pitcher to get them wins, and that's exactly what they have. So, and then just a couple games behind them, I have the Phillies. I have them at 89-73. They're pretty much running the same roster back for the most part as they have for the last couple of years. They did lose Nick Castellanos, who was quickly swooped up by the Padres. They also lost Ranger Suarez to the Red Sox. So that's going to be a big miss for them. Wheeler's starting off the season hurt. So they are going to be facing some adversity at the start of the season, just with some of those guys missing and seeing if all the guys that they've had these last couple of years are going to be able to keep doing what they've been doing for the last several years. They have to slow down eventually, I imagine. So I do have the Phillies just behind them at 89-73. And then third place, I have the Braves. I wanted to put the Marlins above them, honestly, but I just think the Braves have more established stars in their lineup, like Ronald Acuna Jr., Matt Olson, Ozzy Albies, obviously Spencer Strider and Chris Sale in the rotation. So if they're able to stay healthy, they could be maybe top two team. They could be a wild card contender, I think. And
Especially if
then
they make a good move at the trade deadline, maybe trade some big farm system guys, if they really are making a good run and they want to go all in.
yeah, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they try to add to their team throughout the season as it goes on. And then in fourth place, I have the Marlins, but I do like this team. They have a lot of young stars: Otto Lopez, Xavier Edwards, Kyle Stowers had a breakout year last year, and I think the rotation has the potential to dominate. There are some question marks. Obviously, Sandy Alcantara hasn't been the same pitcher as he was since he won the Cy Young, but I think he has the stuff to be dominant. Yuri Perez, similar situation. He can be a star. But I just think that some of the other NL East teams are a little bit better than them. So I have them at 80 and 82, just missing out on a wild card run. And then in fifth place, I have the Nationals. This was one of the easiest rankings for me. I don't think there's really a shot that the Nationals finish any higher than fifth place. I have them going 60 and 102. So that's my second team losing 100 wins this year. They're going to have a rough season, man. They don't have a lot going for them. They lost their best pitcher in Mackenzie Gore. He was one of the only guys holding their rotation together. They do have a lot of fun young guys. Obviously, I like CJ Abrams. I like James Wood. I like Dylan Cruz, but they don't really have an established star to carry their offense or to carry their pitching. So I think they're going to be kind of left in the dust by the rest of the NL East.
Yeah, well, hopefully Brad Lord can be the guy.
He's going to be the one. Put your money on Brad Lord breakout season right now.
With a name like that, how could you not? No, yeah, I had fairly similar 1 through 5, except I got the Phillies at number 1.
That was probably my toughest ranking of this video. I think placing the Phillies and Mets at 1 and 2, that was the toughest one for me. I almost had them tied.
Yeah, I mean, their roster level and depth and how consistent or streaky they are, I just feel like they always kind of more or less place very close to each other, and that's exactly what I have happening here. I have the Phillies at 93 and 69, and then the Mets at 92 and 70. 1 game difference.
Wow, that'd be heartbreaking for Mets fans.
Dude, well, what's more Mets than a heartbreaking finale? I mean, just how it happened last season, like right at the very end, they just choked, and that I just feel like that's going to happen again, unfortunately.
Yeah, man, I really hope it doesn't, but I could totally see it happening again.
Yeah, but I mean, 92 and 70 is still a great season, and they're making the playoffs with that type of record. So not the worst, but I just don't see them winning the division, unfortunately, with just the Mets being the Mets. But at third, I got the Braves, 83 and 79. I do feel like they just massively underperformed last season, and I just feel like they're going to have a better year this year. I just have more faith. They have really good guys on the roster that I'm a big fan of. And then right under them, I got the Marlins at 80 and 82. 1 game up from last year, but I just don't see them competing with the Phillies or the Mets. Unfortunately, I can't. And then I'm with you on the Nationals in 5th place. Although I have them at 74 and 88, I don't see them shooting themselves in both of their feet like you do. I just 1 foot perhaps, but yeah, the Nationals are not gonna get it done.
Yeah, man. Yeah, maybe a foot and a knee.
Yeah. So now that we've broken down all of the divisions, let's go through our top teams. So my top American League teams are the Yankees and Orioles at 95 and 67, and then the Blue Jays and Tigers at 92 and 70, and then the Mariners and Royals at 89 and 73. I did not intend for each of the 2 teams to be tied with each other. That just happened to happen. And, I'll let the head-to-head matchup guys figure all this BS out, because I'm not going to. But I'm not going to change it. This is what I thought it was going to be, so this is what I'm running with. And then for the National League, I got the Dodgers, obviously at 102 and 16. They're going crazy. They have the best team in Major League Baseball, unfortunately. You can't deny it. You just can't deny it. And then under them, I got the Phillies at number 2, 93 and 69. And then the Mets and Cubs at 3 and 4 at 92 and 70. And then at 5 and 6, I got the Brewers at 90 and 72. And Padres at 89 and 73.
Okay, yeah, man, I like it. I think we have pretty similar teams here. For my American League playoff teams, I have the Blue Jays winning the East, I have the Tigers winning the Central, and I have the Mariners winning the West. Then my wild card teams in there, I have the Royals, the Yankees, and the Rangers. I did not mean to add one wild card team from each division. That's just how it worked out.
Yeah, better that way, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too. Hey, I'm all about representation here, you know. And then for the National League teams, for the division winners, I have the Mets, I have the Cubs, and then I have the Dodgers with the best record in baseball. Obviously, it's just going to happen. And then the wild card, I have the Reds, the Padres, and the Phillies. Again, did not mean to add one team from each division. That's just how it worked out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just I kind of like that it worked out that way though.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be a pretty balanced year for most divisions this year.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's just going to be a better overall year for most teams. I hope.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So, using our top teams now, if we were to put it to a playoff bracket, unfortunately, I have the Dodgers taking it all here, man. But I have them going up against the Blue Jays. It's going to be a repeat of last year's World Series. That's what I came up with. It was kind of crazy to like get there after putting all the teams together. Like, man, the Blue Jays and the Dodgers are making it. And it's crazy because the Blue Jays made it as the 3 seed in my playoff thing, and then they beat the Royals, they beat the Orioles, they beat the Mariners, then they lose to the Dodgers. It's just so sad.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I mean, it makes sense. I like that it's a World Series rematch from last year, and I like how you got there too, because you didn't start with, let me make this a World Series rematch. You broke down each team and you thought who is going to make it this far, and you just ended up with the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. It makes a lot of sense, man. They have two of the best rosters in baseball.
Yeah, man. I wanted the Mariners to make it to the World Series so bad, but I just can't see the Mariners overcoming the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I have some good news for you, because maybe there's a world where they do. Because I do have the Mariners winning the American League Championship. I think that they're going to go on a great run, similar to what they did last year, but I think they're going to be even better. I think they're going to win the division series. I think they're going to win the championship series. Everyone's going to be super happy for them that they're finally going to the World Series for the first time in franchise history. And then we're all going to realize who they're facing in the World Series. And it's going to be the Dodgers. The Dodgers are just going to go on an absolute tear in the playoffs. The thing about the Dodgers is they are the best team in baseball, but they are, like, I'd say primarily a playoff team. They play for the playoffs, and they just get better when they're in the playoffs. The more that the games matter, the better the Dodgers are. Some teams kind of like slow down or wind down towards the end of the season because it's 162 games. But the way that the Dodgers play, they just get better and better as the year goes on, it seems like. And the more important the games get, the better they are. So I think the Dodgers are just going to run through the National League bracket. Honestly, they're really not going to face much competition, I don't think. Maybe from the Cubs. I think they could have a good division, a good championship series with the Cubs. I would love to see that. But I think that the Dodgers are going to three-peat. I think they're going to come out on top again. They're going to win the World Series. They're going to break Mariners' hearts and fans' hearts. But I think it's going to be a great series.
Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of really good baseball, unfortunately. I hope it's not just an outright blowout, obviously, because that would just be sad to watch.
Yeah, I want it to be competitive. Last year's World Series was so exciting, and it went to a Game 7. And, obviously the ending of it was very anticlimactic, especially the last two games for the Blue Jays. We don't have to talk about that. Sorry, Blue Jays fans. But, yeah, I think that there's going to be some really good baseball played in the playoffs, but I think that the Dodgers are going to be playing the best baseball.
Yeah, man. So that's our predictions for the 2026 Major League Baseball season. Team rankings, divisional rankings, playoff rankings, all the rankings. And if you made it this far, We appreciate it so much. Please drop a like. If you want to hit that sub button, if you're thinking about it, go for it. I mean, you just watched like our video for over 30 minutes. I think it's worth a sub, if you know what I'm saying. So we appreciate it if you made it this far, and we hope to see you on the next video. If you want us to talk about anything, just leave it down in the comments, and we'll make sure to do it later down the line. So we appreciate you making this far, and we hope to see you on the next one. Peace.